Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Job, the 4th chapter. So after the 3rd chapter, as Job, spoke on his lamentation, right? As he lamented his birth. Now, remember, his friends were there with him, right? So now his friend Eliphaz begins to speak onto him. And, most of Job's friends were of the mindset, right, in how they spoke, that, the Most High, right, is righteous, right? And he's not going to just, do anything to you like that, right? Bring such crazy judgment upon you if you're just, a righteous person. So they kind of were insinuating that, you must have done something, right? There must be something to warrant this kind of judgment, right? This doesn't just come out of nowhere. But Job, as we'll read on and see, was pretty much like, nah, man, like I get that, I know that, but I'm, the state I'm in right now, y'all not getting it. So this is Job chapter 4, verse 1. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If we essay to commune with thee, so if we attempt to talk with you, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking, right? So after hearing, your lamentation, seeing you in this position, we can't just stay quiet. Verse 3, Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. So, you were the one, right, who oftentimes would instruct many, right? You were the one who would encourage those, right, that were going through certain situations, as it says, strengthen the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was falling, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. These were all things that you did. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. So, after all those, people that you encouraged and exhorted and so on, and now you're experiencing this kind of judgment, and you're fainting, right? Let me read this here in the NLT. It says, but now when trouble strikes, you lose heart. You are terrified when it touches you. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and the righteousness of thy ways? Let's read that also. NLT, it says, doesn't your reverence for God give you confidence? Doesn't your life of integrity give you hope? Because remember, he just mentioned the things that Job did, right? Just examples of some of the good accolades of Job. Remember, I pray thee. So now, right, he basically makes the point, like I was mentioning before. Keep in mind, right? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off, right? So the innocent, the Lord isn't just going to destroy them, right, for being innocent, or the righteous are not just going to be cut off without warrant, without something to provoke it. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. See, so those that do wickedness are the ones that suffer, wickedness, right? They suffer calamity. By the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion. So here he describes how he uses the analogy of a lion because of its might, to basically say even the mightiest, right, of them stand no chance before the Lord's judgment. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. And the teeth is their their attack and defense, right? Their power. The old lion perisheth for lack of prey, and the stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. Now, which is basically saying, like, a lion is ferocious, a lion is feared, right? A lion is great, but before the Lord, right, they're all subject to judgment as well. The old lion, the fierce lion, the stout lion, which when you go into that, it goes into like the lioness. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof. And he's basically going to go into a revelation that he says he received in a dream. In thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. So basically, in his vision that he was having, he said a spirit. He saw a spirit that made his basically made the hairs of his back stand up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. So the spirit, it passed by and then it stood, but he's saying here he couldn't tell, what it was. He couldn't make out the figure of it or the form. Fear came. Where am I at? There we go. It says an image was before mine eyes. So he saw a figure. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, "Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker?" So basically, can you like it says, can you be more righteous than the Most High, than your God, than your Creator? Behold, he put no. This is dealing with the Most High. It's kind of like saying here it is. This is a God, as it says, who putteth no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. And the no trust in his servants, meaning like he doesn't depend. He's not dependent upon them, right? And he can even charge his angels with folly. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the angels are doing foolish things, but what it means is that in comparison, right, of excellency, he can even find fault with the angels, and they do everything he tells them. Much less in them that dwell in houses of clay. So even if the divine ones, the holy ones, which are made to completely follow the Lord's instruction, he can charge them with folly. How much less for mortal man? That's what it when it goes into them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, right? You were made of the dust, which are crushed before the moth, meaning you're you're just as easily crushed, right, as one would be able to crush a moth, which is like those butterfly-looking creatures, those insects. How much less in them that dwell in houses of clay? Oh, I just read that actually. Verse 20. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. I'll read this in the NLT as well. It says here, they are alive in the morning, but dead by evening, gone forever without a trace. This is from the perspective, okay, of God, which shows just how temporary our lives are. Doth not their excellency, which is in them, go away? They die even without wisdom. Okay, and when you go into some of the other translations, you'll see they'll have it as here, like in the NLT, it says their tent cords are pulled and the tent collapses. And it's just like a way of saying that the man is so fragile, right, that just like when you pull the cord of a tent that's standing 1 second, and the second you pull the cord, it's down and pretty much gone, collapse. That's how man is, right? That's how easy it is for the life of man to be taken. Right? It says, doth not their excellency which is in them go away? So it's temporary. They die even without wisdom. All right. Or as it says here, and they die in ignorance. And that brings us to the end of the book of Job, the 4th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.